everyone and welcome. Today I have a botanical journal to show you, Botanical Floral Journal that I have made for a friend's birthday, and I did video this once already, but it was, because it's so large, it was off the screen and you couldn't quite see it, so I'm hoping that I actually get it in shot this time and you can have a better look. So this one is made from upholstery fabric, which is sort of pinks and apricots and browns in a floral print, and I've used a vintage doily on the front of that. I've also added an antique vintage brooch with a little green stone there, so I hope that shows up okay on the video, as we've got winter light at the moment, so it's a little bit overcast. Just a little soft silk flower on the bottom, and I've just wrapped around a tuck. Sorry, I'm trying not to bump you here, I'm at a very awkward angle. I've just tucked in a little pink flower card tag there, which is what holds it in place, and it has on the spine, it has a key. So you've got that nice little brass key there. Depending on how much you stuff it full of things, where the key sits, but I've just got that wrapped around like that so it opens easily, and then it doesn't matter how full it gets, you can still tie it up. So I'll just try and get into a spot where we can actually see it this time and you're not disappearing off the screen. So along the bottom we have this beautiful broderie anglaise. I'll just show you that first in case it disappears. And I've got some little trinkets. I've used some little flower trinkets on the bottom there as charms, and a little bead trinket that I made with some flower bead on the bottom and a little green bead up there. Got a little fox charm over this side, so I'll show you the charms first and then I won't miss them later. There's another little daisy flower in there, so it's a very flowery botanical book. On the inside here we have some more upholstery fabric in a sort of French blue look. This one that's sort of like tile shapes. Tucked in here I've got some Mrs. Cogg's wild flowers. We've got the wild rose, the primrose and the blackberry, and you can write on the back of those. So that's tea-dyed paper on the back, and a pretty little envelope from My Porch Prints with roses on that you can tuck little bits in or write a letter or something in there and add. Got a sheet of vellum in the front, which is just protecting the antique doily from the pins on the little fox so it doesn't get caught on there. So we've got the little vintage doily, some lovely rose print paper. I think that might be from Ruby and Pearl Kiss Hug, or XO as it's written, and just a little butterfly with a diamante on the corner. So on this side I have one of those little pockets that I've been using lately, and I usually put below where I got that idea from because a few people have done it now. So it just says laughter, the most civilized music in the world on the inside, and you could put a little something in there and hide it away because it sits down nice and flat there. This one I have a daisy which is from the garden. Out here I've pressed that and just put it through the laminator to give it a little bit of protection because it's delicate, and I've just put a little brad in the top with a ribbon and a little bow with some string there. A rose card and a little envelope that I received somewhere along the track in some Happy Mail, and I've just tucked inside of that. I used it because of all the floral print on it. I thought it went well with the flower journal. And from chapter 1 I have a couple of little tags in there that you can actually write on if you want to, and you can write on the back because that's just tea stained paper. So they're just tucked in there and fit back in here. Just a little cute paper clip there with a little heart, which is sort of like a sweetheart letter in the shape. Over here we have a little envelope die with a birdie on the front and another one of the chapter 1 tags. She has a beautiful kit with florals and butterflies, and she has some lovely tags in that too. So it's just got a little bit of sari silk for the ribbon in pinks. I've mainly used colours of pinks and mauves and lavender blues in this one, and that's a lovely little chapter 1 tag as well in there to write on. So you've got lots of little spots for writing in this journal tucked away. This one here is an unusual print from a book. It's an old magazine, a Tasmanian magazine called Grassroots, and this one is from 1969. It's a very old landscape, the Tasmanian landscape in the day. Very vintage, so I've got a few vintage things sort of stuck in here and there. Another of the rose cards and little card tucked in there. Took's labels here. A garden is a delight to the eye and a solace for the soul. I've used some stenciling here and there over the coffee dyed or tea dyed paper. This one has the print of a doily that you can see coming through where I've tea dyed the doily over the top, and just a little rose stamp there. I love this page here. I think because of the soft blues and the seaside image, it kind of reminds me of home where I live. So I've got a little bit of broderie and glace as a tab on the side with your little flower I showed you earlier on there. A lovely tuck spot over this side, which is another of Mrs. Cogg's. I've mainly used Mrs. Cogg's kit in here for flowers throughout, but I'll tell you if there's a few different things. This dear little envelope, this is a Ruby and Pearl XO envelope from her collection. She has some gorgeous little vintage envelopes, and there I've just got a little crocus inside as a tag, and you can write on the back of that. So that's tucked in there. Sorry if you can hear my dog snoring in the background, but he's asleep below the table. It's a little bookmark with Tim Holtz die cut flower on there. And the word patience at the top comes from one of Mrs. Cogg's kits also. I've used some of her labels throughout because they've got flowers on them and they look really pretty. So this is another from Ruby and Pearl, the Seaside kit of hers, which I really love. It's really beautiful. It has the ocean and beach sort of picture in the corner, and then the lady sitting in a chair looking out to sea. It's gorgeous. One of my favourites. And the blue roses on the back. Over here we've got a little bit of trim, which comes from Boho Daydreams, from one of her collections. She has beautiful bundles of trims, and a lovely flower there, chrysanthemum. And over this side we've got tucked in here one of Mrs. Cogg's cards that you can write on the back of. This one here I think is Linda Maynard. I've got a few of hers in this book. This one is a lovely lavender. It's a Sydney lavender. I don't know if that shows up on this background. Maybe if I put that behind you can see. It's a window tag, and the tag comes from Tracy Fox at Fox Creative. And I just cut out a window and put the the pressed flower from my garden, which is the Sydney lavender, in there, so you can see it, and you can write on the back of that one. So they just tuck into there. I'll put those back later. Over here we've got the word fragrant from Mrs. Cog, and I've just done a collage here which I've built up many layers of, like book pages, some wallpaper in there with textured flowers on, daisies, some broderie anglaise, some heavy laces, and a little butterfly die on the top of that one. Over here we've got a little secret flip which has a butterfly on the corner, so you can do some nice secret writing on there and tuck it back down and no one will realise it's there. I've got another of Mrs. Cog's little cute floral tags, and this is some handmade paper that I made and pressed a daisy into it, and it's just got my little handmade stamp into it in there, which embosses a little pattern in, so we've got that. Some of Ruby and Pearls kit, and this page is just from a botanical book that I have, an old one. Some more of that lovely kit that I showed you earlier from chapter 1 with the butterflies and the gorgeous flowers, little tags and little spots to write on there. Another of Took's little labels, and I've just got dyed flowers very softly in there, so you can still write over all of that, but it just gives you that really soft stenciling coming through with a bit. I just used the Tim Holtz stamp pads over that. And we've got some floral in there too. I'm not sure where I actually got up to before I realised that you couldn't see the book, so I'll just go over to here and then I think we catch up. So I've got some stenciling here, another of Ruby and Pearls, and this gorgeous design here that is a pencil drawing. The paper bag here, which has this lovely little envelope tucked into it, and then over, but I just wanted to show you this beautiful piece of trim from Boho Daydreams, gorgeous floral piece with the pink and the green and the leaves through. I thought that was really pretty. And another of the envelopes from My Porch Prints. She has some gorgeous floral envelopes with a pretty rose on the top. So the other from Boho Daydreams that I wanted to show you quickly was this gorgeous piece. I've used this before in other journals that I've done, so I just wanted you to see that pretty piece there, and that is also My Porch Prints lovely floral envelope. So I don't know if I showed you that little floral bead on the bottom because it was kind of tucked away, so I'll just show you that little bead and then we'll go back to where we were. Paper, I love that pencil sketch she has in hers. Just got a little paper bag here with a tuck you can tuck in behind there, and I've filled that with just a cute little booklet that you can open up. It has just ties with a little bow, and then I've just filled it with numerous tags. So if I undo that, you just have a flip and then you've got your little tags that tuck in there, and in there that's a little sort of flower fairy snowdrop. And a little tuck spot there. Just lots of little tags and cute things in there, and even a little upside down one in that little spot there. Cute little flips. I love these little flower fairies, they're so cute. But you can find those in Mrs. Cog's collection too. And just a little flower cut out on the front, so I'll leave that to tie up and put back in the bag after. So we've got our little paper bag there. Just used a die cut there, Sweet William there, and I've used these Mrs. Cog's labels sort of all the way through, and a little bit of floral stenciling. That's a Tim Holtz stencil. Some more there. Chapter 1, Wildflowers page. Her pages are so pretty. She uses such lovely soft colours, butterflies, insects, flowers all together. It's really pretty. I've got a belly band there with just a little floral card tucked in to write on, and a sweet little envelope there that you can cut out. Already done, which is really very pretty. A tuck spot there. This is a little cutout that came in some happy mail to me from one of the ladies in my group, Jean, and that's a little Australian wombat stamp. Cute. Some tags tucked in there, just a little flip. It's an envelope flip out with tuck spots in. There, you can see through the window. It's a little poppy, eastern poppy. Tucks in there. Of course you can write all round these on the pages. You've got room to write little notes and special memories and different things. It's the other side of that lovely chapter 1 page, which is really pretty. Some more of the stenciling on the tea stain paper, which has some little dots from the tray that I dried it on. I've got a little bit of washi tape throughout here and there, the floral ones. This is a book page that I have put a napkin over, and that just really looks bright and pretty. Little poppy. Got a Time to Flourish stamp there. This little tuck spot's got a few little goodies in it. The little origami envelope that you could put secret writing in and fold it back up if you wanted to, and some note paper with daisies to write some little messages on. And in the top I've got one of these dear little tags with the pretty beads that I made on there in sort of pink and green beads, and the little lace cutout. And I think that idea come from Jackie, who makes beautiful tags. So there's another tag in there with roses on. So I've got 2 tags, I'll put those back after. A lovely little edge along there, and a little bit of cluster with some ticking, some nice heavy laces put together. Ageratum flower, and I've got a little bit here of the texture paste, so you've got a really thick textured feeling there. There's the other side of that gorgeous piece from Heather, Ruby and Pearl, and that's the sketch of the roses I really like, the other side of. Just a bit of a stamp there. Little tuck spot here, and these cute little tag ideas come from Wendy, from Wendy's Journal Adventures, and she showed us how to make those one day with the little flip up window, so you have your little lady underneath all stitched around and you can see her through the window. So that just tucks in there. Some more of that botanical paper. That's a lovely Ruby and Pearl one. Nice little tuck spot there with one of those. I think that's Mrs. Coggs. Ruby and Pearl. I just love these kids on the beach, aren't they gorgeous? Okay, so another stencil here, and a little tuck spot there which is in the shape of a heart, and that's the other side of the Potbelly Stove page, which is really cute. That's a carnation tag that you can write on the back of. Little butterflies. Little flower fairy card there, they're so cute. You can write on the back of those, and I've just got a little envelope there with some foxgloves. Some more stenciling with the texture paste here to give that lovely effect on the darker page. Beautiful rose, and another with the back of that lovely doily there. And again, we've come to the middle. It's just two rather large sections for signatures. That's another of the beads, glass bead dangles that I made with a little sort of bell-shaped flower on the bottom. I've got a ruffle down there and a little floral button on the top. Hopefully you can see that there, little floral button, and a rose page. Another lovely cutout, or I've got a few different floral cutouts that you can use to flower shapes. It's another one of the Wendy style cards. You just frame a little picture, and I've got a lovely butterfly, floral butterfly on the back of that. That's just tucked into a ledger page. These pretty ones I think are Gina's tags that she had at one stage. So that's the ledger page with a tuck spot to put another tag, and I've just used a Tim Holtz cutout there with the flower and the little bird. You can write on the back of those. This is a good spot for a bookmark. So I've got one of Mrs. Cogg's lovely beautiful medieval ladies. That one's called Blossoms. So she's really rather lovely, and I've just made one of these sort of tuck spots that have all the tuck places in, and I've just filled it with different little things, some kind of ticket, and it's just like a little bookmark that you can use there. Here I've got an original vintage French postcard which says Troyes Cascade du Jardin du Rocher. I've no idea how you pronounce any of that, but it gives you a vague idea. But it's very old, and it's got a Cascade Gardens in there, which I presume is what that means at the top, and a beautiful pond. It reminds me of the Botanical Gardens down here. And it's an old original postcard. Then behind that I have made an envelope, and these are the ones that you do with the crinkly sounding sort of plastic from your cereal boxes, and you just sew them onto your tea-dyed paper and decorate the front. So I've got a little butterfly on the corner there, and this side I have some more of the texture paste roses and just some stenciled pink roses, and on the back I've used the pink ribbon and layered up just some fabrics with a flower there. So that's that one, and I've just got that over a tea-dyed page, just tucked over with the card and pinned on with a little Tim Holtz pin, so I'll fix that shortly. Here I've got another from the garden, a pressed flower from the garden there, with just a little piece of pink ribbon and a bow on the top, and it also has another one of those little flip tags in it, which is quite cute, and you can write on the back of that, a little geranium tuck spot there that they tuck into. And there's some spot to write on the back of there with a very pretty piece of wisteria, I think it is there. This one has a lovely piece of vintage lace on the bottom, very heavy, thick tablecloth type crocheted lace, and another of Ruby and Pearl's lovely kits of the lady fishing, which I thought was really pretty. Here we've got one of the ladies in the garden, Periwinkle, Children in the Garden from Mrs. Cogg. That's on a paper bag, like a lolly bag, and you can tuck into that. So I've got a little tag, flip tag that goes into there, so you can tuck that into your paper bag. This side we've got blossoms and a carnation stamp, and that lovely wallpaper design from Ruby and Pearl in one of her kits, and a very nice stencil on the corner there. it's just subtle. You can still write over it, so you could write on that entire page if you wanted to. The same over here. Our stenciling. A lovely piece of Japanese washi tape here, and that is William Morris design. Another William Morris in the wider tape there. Some tea-dyed paper that's picked up the lines from the racks, from the cooking racks. This one has a lovely piece of pink ribbon down the side, which has a nice texture to it. And it's also got those sort of watermarks through it, so it gives you sort of different colours through it. Piece of vintage lace down there, a doily, little paper doily. Here we've got a little delicate clip-on, that cardboard there to protect it a little bit from the paper clip so it doesn't get so torn, but this is a very old magazine cut out from May 1964 from the Women's Weekly, and it's just an illustration with a little bit of a story from the magazine. Mrs. Archer's Country Scrapbook, which I thought was cute, and a little story about the cuckoo bird. So I'll tuck that back in there just to hold it in. We've got some lovely poppy paper here, which is one of Mrs. Cogg's, and a little, if you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere. I think that's Tuke's Crafts. Lovely piece of Australian washi across the top. Has bumblebees and gum leaves and gum knobbies and cute little Australiana. Honeysuckle flower fairy. Here I've got a tag in there which has a little mouse and a flower fairy, which is cute, pretty, and just some little papers that you can write on that have travel things to do on there. And here I've put a lovely glass bead, which is floral, lovely flowers on there. It's got a flower, heart cut out with a little flower punch on the corner. Beautiful tree here. Friendship is a sheltering tree, and I thought that was really lovely. It went with the tree nicely. Some more of the oven tea-dyed paper, which has picked up the shape of the tray underneath. It's got all these cute little designs on it. A little doily and a rose from Ruby and Pearl, and then this lovely ribbon here which feels really nice to touch. It's quite thick. So Ruby and Pearl wallpaper print, and just little hearts die. The wallpaper pocket with a little collection of bits and pieces that you can write on the back of, so you've got quite a few spots there to write. Another lovely flower fairy which you can write on the back of. Just a little collection of bits and pieces there. And Mrs. Cogg's lovely native, or sort of, I think, might even be herbs. Very pretty botanical. This is the other side of the lovely seaside lady who's sitting by the ocean, and some pretty floral washi here, and a lovely spot to write here that says leave the road, take the trails, and it's a little tuck spot on this side, so you can actually flip that out and you've got a little bit of a poem there. There were pieces of her history she didn't quite have a place for yet, but that's okay, because making sense of experience takes time. We need to expand, open up, come to understanding, and then we can see all along that even while we are figuring it out, we are still whole. May the past be your teacher, not your captor. So you've got like a hidden little tuck spot in there with some mushrooms, and here you've got a little tag, a little flower, cornflower girl tucked in there behind the chapter 1 little writing spot. Lovely little 3D butterfly here, which sits up off the page. Pretty colours, and some more of that lovely tea-dyed paper that really stands out. Over this side we've got a little corner tuck with a beautiful rose postcard and a recipe card that you can write a special recipe on. This side we've got a butterfly, and I've left a lot of the strings on because I don't know, some people really love them and some people hate them, but you can always cut them off if you don't like them. So that's a little floral butterfly card. And another one of Heather from Ruby and Pearl's gorgeous papers. And we've come to the end where I've got a tuck from the fabric that folds over there, and just a little card with my hands made with love, and a couple of beautiful feathers from my birds that they leave under the bird bath when they come splashing around. The little bronze-winged pigeons, and I don't know if you can really see that on the camera, but they are very sort of rainbowy in a little patch there and there of colour. So that is the Botanical book, and that is going to a friend for her birthday, so I hope she likes it, and I just wanted to film it for her so that she could see it. Thank you everyone for joining me today, and I hopefully will be back soon with another little something to show you. And also we hopefully will be drawing that daisy journal, because we are getting a little bit closer to the mark. It's taken a very long time to get there, what with all the COVID stuff, and the channel's kind of getting, I don't know, mine seems to have been just shelved, so it's not been moving along at all well. So I'm so sorry it's taken so long to get to the daisy journal drawing, but we will get there very soon. So I'll be back with you all shortly, and I hope you liked having a little look at the floral journal anyway for now, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!